Before I officially start the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 10, I want to say a few words to those that are special to me, because this is 10 years of me doing this. I want to say thank you to my fiance who got me this mug, and as well as this Jaws 2-pack, as you see behind me, to really make this shelves behind me really pop this year. I say I thank you and I love you. To the I Am the Ice Lord, and as well as the 13th Wolfman. Thank you guys for being subscribers and fellow collaborators right here on YouTube. I hope you have a very good list this year and a very good time as well, because you two have made the last couple years of doing this so much fun. And as well as to Spencer and Seth, to giving me some movie recommendations, and as well as digital codes for this year. This list probably wouldn't have happened, some of these movies wouldn't have happened without you, and a lot of the movies I've not seen because of you guys, so I say thank you to you as well. And finally, to everyone who is going to tag along this month and watch all the movies with me, and or check out at least a couple of the recommendations that I give out, or just liking and subscribe, I want to say thank you to you all, and have a good Fright night, and as well as a really horrible Halloween. Oh man, that was terrible. Now run that intro.
Let's begin.
It's October 1st, 2021, which means it is the official start of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 10. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please click subscribe. Hit the bell to stay notified for any future videos I will be creating right here on this channel. And as well as leave a like and leave a comment, because that helps me get my videos and channel out there to a much, much broader audience. And today is the start of Killer Animals Week for the 31 days. And the first movie is Tremors. Now, this is kind of a bridge between some later movies in the month, because I do have some more like killer creature animals kind of later in the month. But this one, I just really wanted to start this month off with a really, really good one, and that most people have seen, which was Tremors. You've never seen this movie. I'm about to tell you what you need to know. It's about some underground worms that hunt by sound, and it's forced to this very isolated desert town to fight these worms. And they have to resort to very unconventional methods of fighting back, because obviously, like most weapons, cannot penetrate the hard earth, and so they resort to like homemade bombs and their ingenuity, and some instances by accident, and so stuff like that. And it stars Fred Ward, Kevin Bacon, what's his name, Burt Gummer, from what's his name, Michael Goss. So he's Reba McEntire. And so there's like a really nice cast in this movie, and it's just like, wow. And I watched this movie in 4K, like the highest definition you can get right now for consumers, that is. So it looks amazing. I've watched this movie several times. I've watched this movie, my main interaction with this movie has been always on TNT and TBS and stuff like that, so it's always been edited. And there's this really nice, cool special feature on this movie where it shows you how they edited it for television. I'm like, oh man, these are the lines that I've always associated this movie with. I've never really associated the uncut version of this movie, because I've watched it so many times on regular television that the edited version is the version that I'm more familiar with. So when there's scenes when Chang, this store owner ends up getting killed, there's like a few extra shots of him actually getting dragged into the graboid's mouth. And I'm like, I never seen that for the longest time. And then when I finally did, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that existed, you know? And I kind of talked about this with the Tremors 2 Aftershock, because I'm the exact same way. I watched that movie mainly on TV, so I never really got to watch it unedited, or like, because even though it's PG-13 movies, these are like older PG-13 movies, so they kind of push the buttons a little bit, especially with the blood and gore. So, like, the special effects in this movie are spectacular. They're all really homemade. They're practical. And some of the stuff that they do to get around without showing the monster too much is like, because they burrow underground, they just dig a ditch and drag something really big underneath it, so it kind of makes it look like it's moving the earth from underneath it. And that's stuff like that. And I was watching one of the special features, and they were like, they would never do that today. They would CGI it, and it would look terrible. And I'm like, yeah, it would. And this is like one of the best creature features out there. It's a classic. This is probably one of the biggest recommendations, if you have not seen this on this list this year, is this one, Day One, Tremors. So, I love this movie. I really, really do. So, I do have a ratings list. 1, it's run-of-the-mill horror. 2, best watch with the group. 3, more than average horror, but adds nothing new to the horror genre forward. Helps move the horror genre forward. 4 being helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. Now, Tremors is a classic regardless. It's a 5. It's a horror classic. The horror part is a little lenient but like if you really think about it, there are some really truly scary moments when the movie takes place at dark, because most of this movie takes place during broad daylight, so you get to see the monster in its full glory, stuff like that. But there is some scenes that takes place at night, and that's really that's where some of the more tense scenes come from. Unlike in Tremors 2 Aftershocks, there is some scenes at night, and that kind of gives me the same feeling as well. So, if you want to see this movie in like a really great high definition, try and seek out the 4K. I got the really expensive Arrow limited edition one. You can get the single disc one, but this one has books and posters and postcards and all that good stuff. So I'm a movie guy, so obviously I kind of went for a little bit more. So that's really all I gotta say about Tremors. Just the special effects, the acting, just across the board. This is a fun monster movie, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, this is definitely a horror classic in every which way. So that is it. That is it for Day 1 of the 31 Days of Fright, and I will see you tomorrow. And all I can say is I am the one and only MSJ, Max of Short, and I say thank you.